Hey everybody, here we are again. It is 2 hours UTC on the 18th of January 2018. So depending on where you are on the planet, could be a different time. Where I'm in southeastern Arizona in the United States, and I'm always on Mountain Standard Time. So that's 7 hours behind UTC. So that makes it 7 p.m. My local time. But regardless of where you are on the planet or in the universe, uh, we're talking 2 hours UTC. So howdy, howdy. Nice to see some viewers already. I'm going to get over here and pop on the chat. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. I've got one computer doing this. I've got one computer, my Linux machine, that's going to be doing the chat. And then I've got my smartphone, which is hopefully running live. And it is. See, the sound is okay. Yeah, yeah. Just as crappy as the past 4 episodes. So, yeah, this is pretty poor lighting and pretty poor video, and the audio isn't all that great either. But the uh, uh, the group is awesome though, and hopefully the content is uh, interesting enough and exciting enough. Um, so yeah, I'm going to pop up the chat. All these funny little things that you have to do. Why isn't this coming up here? Here it goes. There I am. So now I'm going to pause that YouTube and get onto the chat so I can see who's actually here. Got a couple of viewers. Hey, OMCXXX. Hope all is well. Hope your day was well. That's one of the things that I like about these daily things, is that I can say stuff like "I hope your day was well," because uh, it's just been a day. So I think that's pretty cool. No, I'm not apologizing. I'm just explaining. um, that's kind of strange. So, you were denied getting on to the Facebook smartphone astronomy group. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's up to them. That's seems a little strange. Um, yeah, that seems a little strange. So, I mean, anybody with a smartphone. I mean, what I've observed from that group so far, it's only been a few days, but what I've observed from that group is it's just a bunch of people taking photos of astronomical objects through a telescope, um, and they're decent pictures, but nothing uh, overly spectacular or anything. So yeah, that's a little strange. A little strange. Well, anyway, so I hope everyone is doing well today. Looks like I've got 3 viewers at the moment. That's very awesome. Howdy, howdy. Glad you can join in the group. I'm going to go through a little spiel here for a while. Oh, I don't know what the cat is doing. Who knows? You know, they just do their thing. So as long as it's not you know, too interfering, yeah, who cares? You know, they're part of the group too. So anyway, so this is Astronomy Daily Live. I do this daily at 2 hours UTC every day. And it is just a casual, open-minded, skeptical, but hopefully a fun and educational show about astronomy and its related fields. And whether you're new, or you're an amateur, or you're an advanced amateur, or a pro, you are extremely welcome here. I am all of those, so I thoroughly enjoy talking at any level that the rest of the group wishes. So this is really the only sort of scripted part of the show that I have. Yeah, so most of the conversations are going to be directed by you. If no one has anything, I will always have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things to talk about. I can talk astronomy all the time. So lay it on. It's awesome. It's awesome. So we can do Q&A if you like, back and forth. In fact, it's not just asking me things, because I'm no expert. I have been in astronomy my entire life, so I've got a lot of experience, but I don't claim, you know, to know anything. I do, you know, consider myself a scientist in that when I do go and try to understand things out there in the universe, I go through the scientific process, which doesn't have a begin and a middle and an end. It's a process. It's a circular thing, and it sort of feeds itself. And in that sense, it's a process fractal. So very cool, very cool. So Q&A, you can ask me astronomical things, and I am certainly going to be asking you astronomical things if you know your stuff. We can talk about observing. We can talk about gear, telescopes, cameras, instrumentation, research, data analysis. Definitely want to if you or I find, you know, like an interesting article in a journal or anywhere else, certainly would like to talk about those kinds of things. You know, let's talk about personalities in the astronomical world. There are some pretty interesting folks out there, sort of spreading the astro word. So very cool. Something that I'm extremely interested in is astro-art and science art, and sort of, you know, the merger of those two things. I do astro-art as well as research. So at some point, yeah, I'll show off a little bit of my work. Actually, some of my work is going to be at the forthcoming Lunar and Planetary Lab. I think they're calling it it's TAP, so it's the art of planetary science. It's the art of planetary science, and so it's this really, really neat merger of science and art. And they're going to have an exhibit February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And 4 of my pieces are going to be in it. I've got 3 prints and 1 video. You want to come down here? Come on down here. Come on, you. He's moving slow. No, not interested. Oh well. She'll be back. So yeah, that's happening February 2nd, 3rd, and 4th at the Lunar and Planetary Laboratory on the campus of the University of Arizona in Tucson. And I will make a note right now to put a link in the description for that event. There's like 200 entries. They're pretty much accepting anything. So I'm most definitely not going to brag about getting into it because yeah, it sort of looks like they pretty much accepted anything. I think there were 208. No, there was something like 215, 216 total entries, and 208 made them through. Mean and nasty me is like, I wonder what those 7 or 8 look like. I don't know. I guess you'll never know. But yeah, they pretty much accepted everybody. So astro-art for sure. And if you have anything to share, either of your own or something interesting that you've seen, drop me a line or let me know in the chat, and I can try to link it up here, show it off a little bit, look at it, think about it. Thanks. What are you doing, cat? Huh? Art for sure, astro-art. Talking about either different astronomical projects, any kind of space-based things, anything like that. Let's talk about institutions. What's going on there as well. So anything that you want to suggest, I am extremely happy to talk about. Don't want to go off topic too much, but as I said, I want to keep this very casual and very open-minded. So nothing really is off the table. You can see her in the background. I don't know what she's doing. I'm the hammer. So I'm the host. Sort of do have the final word in terms of that. I should also mention, and I'm going to get into motivations here too, really fast. And I'm probably going to be doing this for a little while at the beginning of each show, just so people who are new coming in can sort of get a understanding of where I'm coming from. So I sort of have 4 motivations. doing this daily live show on astronomy. The first is that, as far as I know, other slash Google Hangout that is doing a live daily show on astronomy, trying to fill the vacuum there. The second reason is, think of all of them. Okay, so the second reason is what I've is that the hosts of the shows that I shout outs tonight for sure. So don't let me forget. I've got it. There's no guarantee. Is that at least the astronomy shows that I watch, the hosts are either really awesome astronomy enthusiasts, or they are educators or teachers, or they are like science communicators of some sort, either like a journalist, or people can actually get degrees in science communication. So, but there don't seem to be any scientists who are hosting shows. So that's another reason. The third reason is that what I've noticed with the shows that I watch is that I see a lot of like scripting and sort of nervous people, and I think I have at least an explanation that I can accept about that, and that is, scientists these days are sort of the high priests, like in the old days, when something would happen, and the people would want an explanation, priests, to get an answer, and the high priest would have to provide an answer of some sort. And so I think a lot of times these guests on the shows, and the scientists are always the guests, they are put into a position where they have to sort of speak very, very authoritatively, as if they know for sure, that certain things are going on, because everybody is sort of looking up to them for answers and explanations and all that. And I don't think that's how science works. As I said, science is a cyclical thing, and so you never get to the end. And I mean, this is I'm sure you've heard this phrase. The more questions you answer, the more questions there are. And I mean, I experience that practically on a daily basis with the work that I do. It's just all over the place. Warnock 69XXX in the house. Nice to see you there. Glad you can stop by. I've actually got five viewers at the moment. I think it was up to maybe 6 or 7 there for a little while. So yeah, it's kind of interesting to watch that. I wish I could sort of chart, how it goes from 1 to 2 to 6 to 7 to 5 to so. And I'm going to add a fourth reason motivating me to do this show, and it sort of leads into maybe a topic that I'll cover. that was asked last night. I think by OMCXXX, I think. Don't remember. But I do have a selfish reason for doing this as well, and that is I have certain things that I would like to do in terms of research and doing these kinds of things, um, and all of that. And if I really want to get heavy into research, um, I can't have an outside job at all, and I do at the moment, and that job is nice, and I've sort of uh, mainly due to forces outside of my control. I've got pretty reduced hours there, so um, you know at the moment we're living on a thread, which is fine. Uh, I have absolutely no interest in having lots of money or lots of things or anything else. I'm pretty set. I'm pretty set in terms of, at least for the foreseeable future, um, what kind of work I want to do. I think the only thing that really well, okay, I won't say it because OMCXXX is just going to yell at me again. So, yeah, I'm pretty much set. So I don't need a lot of stuff. I'm not interested in a lot of stuff. But if I want to do this more on a full-time basis, like 24/7, which is what I would do if I could. Okay, um, there there are these things that I still have to pay for, and damn it, they all just want dollars, right? They just want dollars. So somehow I have to get those one way or another. So one of the things that is motivating me, to do this um, daily live show, it is by far the least motivating, because if I didn't have to, I wouldn't even be talking about this. But in order to do the kinds of things that I want to do and enjoy doing and am, I think, good at doing, I've got to be able to pay the bills, because it's electricity that is running this whole thing, and it's food that is running this thing. So that's how it is. So those are my motivations. Motivations. Let's see, is there anything else? So bottom line is that this, I would like this daily show to be just a gathering of friends on a daily basis, once a day, at a prescribed time, a consistent prescribed time. Particular time might change. Um, this, one has to start somewhere. So this particular time was just arbitrarily chosen. If it needs to be changed, then I will change it in the future. In the future. All right, 7 viewers. Let's see how many people are in chat. See, I can find all this out. Okay, so it's just Warnock doing that. I wonder how that works. I'm not exactly sure. Uh-oh. Is she gonna come over here? Come over here. Come over here. There's a kitty that's about to climb onto my lap. She's thinking about it. Well, there's Tom Van Scooter. Is it Scooter or Scotter? I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm really terrible with names and whatnot. Terrible, absolutely terrible. So, what's going on? Anything of interest out there for you folks that you would like to? Right, Scotter, I got it. I got it. Yeah, let me give those shout outs to the other shows that I've been watching. Like you, Tom, I watch the Weekly Space Hangout, and very, very awesome, very, very awesome. I really like everybody on there. They really, 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 really know their shit. I mean, they're really, really, really sharp. So extremely awesome. And those of you who haven't seen the Weekly Space Hangout, I strongly encourage you to do so, because yeah, they're extremely awesome, extremely awesome. I Before I started this live show, I did a little bit of research, to find out if anybody else was doing a daily live show, and the closest that I could find was this fellow Dennis Hands. Dennis Hands is a educator, 40 years being a teacher, and he has a show that's on, I think, twice a week or so. I think it's called Let's Talk Astronomy. And the hydrogen oxide as usual. But he most definitely is an educator. He's there to answer questions and give you like little quizzes and things, which are extremely informative. And I like Dennis a lot. He's got a great sense of humor. It's subtle, right? I mean, it's subtle, but yeah, I really, really like him. So check him out. He does his things on Snapchat. So I'll post all these links down in the description. So you can check him out too. Dennis Hands. I think his Twitter is Dennis R. Hands. And I've been trying to contact him, but he hasn't responded yet. So, oh, you're doing an interview? Well, that's very cool. If you have a second, what interview is it? And can I see it later? I'd like to know. The third shout out that I'd like to give is to a show called Deep Astronomy, and this is a I don't know if it's a sponsored show, but it's supported by I want to say something in JPL. Sorry, I think I should probably have that information at the tip of my tongue, but I don't. And it's a lot like the Weekly Space Hangout, in that it's a host, and I'm not quite sure if this is hosted by a scientist or just like a science enthusiast. And he has a panel of scientists that come on and talk specifically about their research. So that is extremely cool. The only problem, I guess, that I really have with Deep Astronomy is that they seem to have a lot of technical problems. Their latest show I just watched this afternoon, and it was almost impossible to watch and hear, because it was really choppy uh, and quite frankly, some of the panelists were a little rude to each other, and I'm talking over each other and all of that, and you know, I can appreciate enthusiasm, but this wasn't enthusiasm. This was rudeness. Yeah, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, whatever the interview is, good luck. It looks like he's probably gone already. So I don't know what kind of interview it was. Do you have any idea at all? I think that is Tony. Yes, yes. It is. That name rings a bell for sure. I like that show though. I really do. Extremely informative, and you know, he sort of lets the scientists just talk. He doesn't get into it much, and a lot of what scientists um, talk about are like, right, just whoosh, way over, right. Um, but I like that. I like topics that are you know 6 inches over my head, maybe a foot over my head or so. Topics down here or any lower is, you know, it's sort of like, well, yawn. Um, Topics that are just like in the stratosphere or in orbit, um, I I I don't know what to do with them. But you know, topics that are you know just about here or so. Yeah, that's what I like. I'm gonna stop slouching. Adjust this camera a little bit. I don't know if anybody's noticed the picture in the background here. Maybe someday I'll talk about that and do some show and tell about that. Yeah. So Bob Dog is in the house. Hope all is well. We've been going here for about 32 minutes or so. This is open season for any topics or anything that you'd like to talk about. If you want to be a panelist and come on here with me, show your either your pretty face or your pretty icon. Um, it's all you have to do is send me an email to cosmiclettuce@gmail.com, and I will send you the link. I will send you the link. And I'm looking forward to doing that. This is the 5th episode of Astronomy Daily Live, and haven't had a panelist on yet. So that'll be a new thing, and sometimes new things are exciting. So, but yeah, any topics at all? No, I've got a couple. Okay. So one of the things that the one hears about a lot is the search for life. Either the search for life on Mars or life on Europa or life on Enceladus, or you know, talking about the habitable zones um, in other uh, solar systems beyond ours, and searching for life. And one of the questions that I have is, should astronomers be looking for and trying to detect life? And I don't, I get, I don't have a clear answer about that, but isn't isn't the study of life biology? And I know that there are so-called astrobiologists, but frankly, um, there currently there is no astrobiology. So how can you be in a field that doesn't exist? I don't know. Maybe I have some kind of misunderstanding about that, but um, uh, the study of life, um, that's biology. Um, Now, astronomers can certainly play a role in um, the detection of, well, the detection and characterization of uh, possible places for life. But I mean, shouldn't once a detection and a characterization, once that's done, shouldn't like all of that just be handed over to the biologists instead? That's that's what I think, at least. David H. Wheeler. Hey, nice to meet you. You're new in the group, in the circle here, the circle of friends, for sure. I definitely would like to get to know each and one of you. As much as I can over a chat. Um, so, yeah, glad to see you. That was actually David's asking when's the sun going to burn out. That's actually a topic that I wanted to talk about too, because on today's episode of Deep Astronomy, um, there there were uh, a number of the people on the panel um, were saying that the sun was going to uh, go into red giant stage in like 100 or 200 million years, and um, I was taught, um, and this is sort of part of the dogma of the high priests here. Um, but I was taught that our sun um, was going to expand from its current size to a size that's about the orbit of Mars or so. It's going to turn into what's called a red giant. Um, According to uh, um, current theory, the sun right now, in its core, is fusing hydrogen um, uh, into helium, and you know whether that is or not is fine. I'm just sort of giving you the spiel that um, uh, astronomers are taught. Um, well, that hydrogen is going to run out at some point, and then all that's going to be left, or at least the majority of it, in the middle under high compression and high temperature. Um, uh, all the hydrogen is going to be gone. There's going to be helium. Well, helium can start to fuse. That produces a lot more energy, and so it's going to expand the sun. Yeah, to they're thinking about the orbit of Mars. So yeah, that means that the Earth is going to be engulfed in the outer envelope of our sun. And what I was taught, at least, was that was going to be happening in about 5 billion years. So here you've got some, you know, uh, authoritative astronomers who are saying that the sun is going to do that in 1 or 200 million years. Okay, 1 or 200 million years. And by the way, every good scientist has a calculator on his desk. Um, so look, so let's just say 200 million years. Okay, 200 times 10 to the sixth divided by 5 billion, which is 5 times 10 to the ninth. So that's 4%. Yeah, that's it. Almost makes me want to change my plans, because man, that seems, 200 million years compared to 5 billion is uh, that's a huge difference. So to me, I'm sort of like, no, there's something wrong about that. And Tony caught that too. Um, and I'm I'm gonna have to. I started to do a little bit of looking around, to see uh, um, what the consensus is on the lifetime of our sun. And at least what I've found so far, a couple of papers from 2016, um, they are saying 5 billion years. So I'm not exactly sure what these folks are talking about. The only thing that I can think that maybe what they mean is that in 200 million years we'll have begun to notice a difference. And mm, yeah, yeah. Um, and it would probably be a big enough difference to seriously upset the climate on all the planets, including the Earth, of course. So that's the only thing I can think. But yeah, I mean, if that's true, and sorry, folks, I am extremely skeptical of that. But I'm open-minded. It's like, okay, well, maybe this is what they mean. Um, uh, so yeah, they all sounded, and I think there was a consensus among all the panelists, at least, that yeah, I think one of the things that was said was definitely much, or like 500 million years at the most, right? And so yeah, that just sort of that changes all my plans. I don't know about you, but it changes all my plans. So I've got to hurry up a little bit now. Damn it! Damn it! Da, da, da. Yeah. I'm not quite sure, Tom, where they got that number. That is news. That is news to me. That is definitely news to me. So let's see. The sun gets hotter as it ages. About 300 million years to be too hot. Yeah. Okay, so maybe that's what they are talking about. Is that things are going to change. Um, Climate-wise, much sooner, than 5 billion years, and maybe uh, that seems sort of like a logical thing here. Now, I have a kitty that wants out of this office, so I'm just going to mute my mic, and I'll be back in like 10 seconds. Yeah, Bob, get your ass to Mars. Get your ass to Mars. Yeah, I we're living in pretty exciting times. You know, we're seeing ourselves finally jumping off this dumb old rock. We're gonna jump onto some other dumb old rocks. Yeah, look around. There's lots of cool things out there, and you know, when we realize how much stuff we have, oh, shit, how much stuff we have access to. I mean, it is, for all intents and purposes, it is unlimited. Okay, it's unlimited energy, unlimited material, and man, that is going to change everything. Because I mean, finally, it's going to dawn on us, right? That they're just, we're not stuck with a finite. I mean, we will have a finite amount of stuff, but it's going to be so much that it might as well be an infinite amount, right? And it's going to be totally cool when we realize this. I mean, we can do this now. We can do this now. It hasn't sunk in yet. We think that we have, you know, limited resources, and all of that, and it's like, no. We've got more than enough, much more than enough here to go around. Bucky Fuller was right. We've got more than enough to go around. David says that governments blame weather on global warming, burning of fossil fuels. Yeah, climate change for sure happens. To me, that's a no-brainer. I don't know why that's even news, that the climate is changing. Duh. And at least in my opinion, and I certainly haven't looked at all of the data, but it seems to me that big bright star in the sky, that baby is running the show. Okay, we humans are polluting the planet for sure. Okay, but are we changing? Is our activity changing the climate? I don't know, you know. And one of the things that I always point to with this topic is volcanoes, and the amount of material that is released into the atmosphere by, you know, a large volcanic event. Is you know, like orders of magnitude, maybe not that many, but a lot more than all the shit that we put into the atmosphere. So it's like, okay, you know, volcanoes don't contribute to climate change, but humans do. But volcanoes put out a lot more shit. I don't know. It's I'm very skeptical of the human caused climate change, and it's rarely stated that way. It's usually just stated climate change, and you know, there are probably, you know, political motivations for all those kinds of things. But anyway, so yeah, I think the panel on the deep astronomy today, the only thing I can think is that they were talking about when changes in our sun are going to be noticeable enough that it's going to start impacting us. So yeah, you know, we have a mere 100 million, 200 million years do something about that. And I think in that amount of time, I think we'll be all right. Yeah, we'll be all right. Especially if we continue the insane path, you know, that we're going on now. I mean, we're going to be on the moon and on Mars very, very soon. Uh, uh, Hopefully within the next 10 or 20 years, I would say. And yeah, you know, if they're looking for volunteers, hello, here I am. Um, Although you know, there are reasons why I wouldn't go. I've got, you know, some people and things down here that you know, would miss me a little bit, I guess. Um, uh, I don't know what that reference is, David. I'm Bruce Willis and his drilling crew. I'm not much of a movie watcher, so I'm not quite sure what that reference is. But um, it feels like a funny thing, at least. Well, we've got 6 viewers. That's extremely awesome. Glad you're all here. This is Astronomy Daily Live. I do this every day at 2 hours UTC. On for about an hour and a half. It's a, you know, it's a gathering of friends, and I don't know about you, but when I gather with my friends, there isn't necessarily a closing time. So I think I'd like to go for at least an hour. But if it goes more than that, um, fine by me. Armageddon. Okay, yeah, I have not seen that movie. Haven't seen that movie. So any either Bob or Tom or David, any interesting astronomical things that you want to chat about, let me know. Let me know. If you've got questions, for sure. You know, this daily show is for everybody. Absolutely everybody. I want, you know, brand new out of the shell newbies, and I want to get some pros in here. I want to get the amateurs involved and the advanced amateurs involved. Um, yeah, I think it could get really, really fun. So from NOAA, which emits more carbon dioxide, volcanoes, or human activities. Human activities emit 60 or more times the amount of carbon dioxide. Oh, okay, all right, all right. I uh, 60 times. Wow. Okay. I've got to look into that. So for sure, that's interesting. David, I'm in the United States. I'm in southeastern Arizona, and I'm here on purpose. I've got 2 primary reasons why I'm at this location. The number 1 reason, which is like way above every other reason, is because it's dark. It is one of the darkest places, at least in the United States. So that's the primary reason. Secondary reason, which is you know, if this is because it's dark, maybe about here it's quiet. It is nice and quiet. And my favorite I mean, I'm a musician as well, but my favorite sound in the whole world is the sound of silence. I love it. My favorite sound ever. It's the sound of absolutely nothing. Yeah, I like that. That's the best. So yeah, I'm in the United States. Does that your question sort of implies that you are outside the United States? No? Yes? Well, Bob Dog, there isn't there's only one way that to permanently escape from noise, right? And that's uh, so there's always noise, even if there isn't any external noise. There's usually internal noise. so so, but I guess to be more specific, there externally, it's very very quiet. Cool, Virginia, Virginia. You know, I have, uh, I'm a Western boy, and more specifically, a desert rat. Let's see. I have been uh, east. I've been east of the Mississippi. One, two, three, maybe four times. Illinois is east of the Mississippi. Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure. So I think I've been east of the Mississippi four times. Yeah, um, what I saw of it, it's nice, but I can confirm that is definitely not for everyone. And my location is exactly the same. It's definitely not for everyone. And if you like where you are, stay there for sure. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Dutch Grow 420. Glad you can come in. Glad you could come in. We're just, we're talking astronomy, more or less. Question that somebody had from last night. I think it might have been OMCXXX. He was asking about jobs in the astronomical field. How do you get a job in an astronomical field? And I I've been thinking about that this past day, and in fact, I think about it a lot because I'm in a situation where at least at the moment I'm not associated with any institution. I have been in the past. I would go back in the future if the opportunity arises. But I would very, very much like to sort of do my own thing. And this concept of crowdfunding makes that possible for people who do want to work independently in anything to at least have maybe a fighting chance. One of the things that I observed as a student that really turned me off to pursuing any kind of a professorship or anything with paperwork associated with it or letters after my name associated with it, is that the people that I was working for um, those with the letters after their names and all the paperwork. They spent probably 80 to 90% of their time looking for money. They were writing grant proposals to NASA, to NSF, to anywhere that was giving out research funds. And I looked at that and I said, why would I want to do all of this work to prepare myself, to get a higher degree, when it's all I'm going to do is write proposals for grants? I want to do research. I want my hands in the dirt, as they say, right? And so, fuck that. I'm just not going to do it. So that most definitely isn't an easy path, but it allows me to sort of do what I want. But as I said, if the opportunity arises again, to pop into an institution, I probably will. Probably. So, yeah, jobs in the astronomy world. Every astronomy department, at least in the United States, and I would think that this would be a worldwide thing. Every astronomy department in the world has a job listing thing of some sort. And if you don't want to go to every university's website and every institution's website on the internet, you can go to the American Astronomical Society's job register website, and I'll put a link to. I can put it in the chat. I have king power. So it's job. Well, I think it's job register.aas.org. I think that's what it is. So you can go there, and it's kind of interesting, and there's a shitload of jobs. Mostly professorships, tenure track type of things. Cool stuff though, but for the most part, those people are going to be spending most of their time looking for money so they can pay the grad students and the undergrads to do all the work. So for me, that's no fun. I'm gonna stay a grunt and keep my hands in the dirt, because that's where all the cool stuff is. I mean, I have worked with some amazing observatories and some amazing instrumentation, and big toys, right? Big, cool toys. And why would I want to give that up? If it means that I don't have a lot of stuff, well, go look at the George Carlin discussion of stuff, and you'll understand where I'm coming from, because he pretty much says it all. He pretty much said it all there. Yeah, I heard about the big bolide over in the Midwest. Shook the ground, it was sonic boom, the whole thing. those those are relatively rare, but they're not incredibly rare. They're just, I guess, maybe more noticed now, and because they're being recorded and all that. I've seen a couple of those, and I've heard the sonic booms too, and it scares the shit out of you. It's what it does. But it's being astronomers, after maybe half a second, you sort of know what's going on, and I just stood there in absolute awe, just like, wow, wow. And I mean, I think about it now, and it's like I'm getting goosebumps, because it's just that, yeah, that was definitely, there was two occasions, yeah, great, awesome things. So I didn't feel the ground shake, but I definitely heard a boom, and a hiss, and yeah, very awesome. Yeah, David, it is very awesome to get paid to watch the stars. It's but it's sort of like any other profession. If you like what you're doing, getting paid is a bonus, and that's sort of how I've always operated. Uh, all the work I've ever done, I have thoroughly enjoyed, and the fools paid me too. It's just insane. So yeah, really awesome. Uh, so yeah, they're so a lot of the astronomy jobs are professorships and those kinds of things. You work at a university. Um, there are some institutions, uh, um, and there are government agencies as well, that need astronomers. So there's a lot of those, and there are, I think, although I really haven't, I probably haven't looked hard enough, or um, uh, done enough sort of, I don't know, outreach to find sort of independent research astronomers. Um, Sometimes those are called citizen scientists, and I'm probably gonna devote a number of shows. I'm talking about that idea, because I've got some problems with that terminology. So, but yeah, I think doing what you are passionate about, and being able, I mean, I just want to pay the bills, right? I don't, as I said, I'm pretty much set in terms of, at least uh, um, uh, what I can see doing in at least the foreseeable future. So I don't need any stuff. Um, uh, just need to pay all the bills. That's all, and that's not much either. So yeah, rest in peace, George. Yeah, yeah, very cool. But yeah, if you haven't seen his thing on stuff, his stuff, or his thing on stuff, and his thing on bullshit, uh, are two really good ones. The bullshit one is it's really, it's really awesome. He was one of the comedians who I think really enjoyed what he did, and it showed. And it's I think it it's definitely leaky, right? I mean, you can definitely feel it, but he's really having a good time for sure. Harp, are you talking of HAARP or HAARP? I stood in the middle of a mini harp over on Maui, and I wasn't told that I shouldn't talk about it. So yeah, but they were doing research. You know, they were doing you know, real work. They were shooting RF into the ionosphere and looking at the reflections coming back and not I didn't really get into, you know, talking to anybody about that, but yeah, yeah. Did you work on container ships? Love the darkness of being in the middle of the ocean. Wow, yeah, yeah. You know, um, I've I've never been out in the middle of the ocean. Probably never will. Um, but yeah, I can only imagine that it's fantastically dark. Can you find a dark place on the ship itself? Because I'll bet you, you know, there's lots of lights and stuff on the ship, right? So I mean, are you able to uh, uh, find sort of a dark spot there at all? But yeah, I can imagine it's got to be just insanely dark. The only problem with you know, and that's sort of, well, why don't they, you know, uh, build, you know, some kind of floating observatory or something? Um, well, one, you know, you've got to be able to anchor it, but let's assume, you know, that can be done in some way, you know, stabilized in the telescope or, you know, something, so it isn't wobbling all over the place. But you would think, you know, that if you can sort of ignore that little detail, that yeah, it would be like an ideal spot. Um, However, the problem is that when you're on the surface of the ocean, you are looking through all of the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is a killer, right? It's the atmosphere um, uh, has a lot of stuff in it, mostly moisture and dust and all of that, and that greatly distorts um, uh, what things look like. Now there are ways on the ground to correct for that. It's called adaptive optics, where, you know, the telescope can actually sort of sample the atmosphere and uh, um, very rapidly correct for those distortions. And I was involved in the early development uh, of those systems, and yeah, works really well. But um, looking through a lot of atmosphere like that is rough, is really rough. So that's primarily why astronomers like the tops of mountains, because it's less atmosphere, closer to space. So the less air you have between uh, you and the object of your interest, the less distortion it's going to have, and the better it's going to look, and, you know, the less work that the adaptive optics systems have to have to do. So no lights while in transit on the open ocean, only the running light. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Did you ever, were you in the northern hemisphere or the southern hemisphere? Did you ever see the southern sky? That's something I'm not really big into travel. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I'm in paradise. So, you know, I don't really have any interest in traveling at all, but I would most definitely like to see, you know, the southern sky uh, and spend some time there too. So, you know, maybe someday, maybe not. You know, the northern sky is most definitely good enough. Uh, it's but yeah, you know, uh, just to sort of see something different and be completely lost. Um, I I grew up in a city where I could, you know, see mostly just the brightest stars. On a really dark site, if you've got really good eyes, you can see to about magnitude 6.2, 6.3, something like that. And the astronomical magnitude scale is sort of a reverse thing. So the smaller the number, the brighter the object. So Venus is at about a -4 or so. Jupiter is about -1 or 0. Vega, um, the bright star in the constellation Lyra, is sort of the standard 0 magnitude star. It was decided long ago that at every wavelength, Vega is 0th magnitude. And so Vega is sort of, you know, the standard from which everything else is measured from. And, you know, 0 is a good place to start. So, yeah. The moon is about -12. The sun is about -26. And as I said, we can see down to about 6.1, 6.2 or so. And so I grew up in a situation where I could see probably to about 3rd magnitude, maybe 4th, maybe or so. So I got really familiar with that sky, right? I mean, I really knew that sky well as a kid. You know, by the time I was like 11 or 12, I knew that sky really well. So when I had the opportunity to go out to an actual dark sky, when I got out there for at least that night, I was lost. I was completely lost because there were so many other stars that I couldn't see. I couldn't see the brighter ones that I was sort of familiar with, right? You see all the patterns, right? You see the constellations on patterns as well. I see lots of triangles in the sky. I've got this thing for triangles. So yeah, that's what would happen to the southern hemisphere, right? And it'd be even worse because I'm not familiar with the southern hemisphere at all. So I would be completely, and it'd be great. But I'd have my charts, so you know, at least observing, you know, if I went down with a pair of binoculars or even a small scope, I'd be able to get around. But yeah, I wouldn't have a clue what anything is. But yeah, I would love to see the Magellanic Clouds for sure, And I'd like to get a better center of the galaxy as well. So Yeah, the cross, that name is what's called an asterism, a star pattern. And the actual name of the constellation is Crux. Yeah, Crux the cross. And within the cross is a dark nebula called the Coal Sack. Don't know if you knew that or not, but I thought I'd pass that on. Usually go out to the bow of the ship at night, and then yeah, getting lost in the sky. Yep. You know, I have been familiar with the sky my entire life, and it blows me away every single time. Every single time, it's like, holy shit. And if you start to think about your position, right, where you are and how you're moving within all of this, I can actually get myself dizzy. Yeah, it's just absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So let's see, we've still got move to a different screen. So I've still got five viewers. I can keep going for a little while if you guys want, or we can cut it off. Rest in pepperonis, yeah. Avery Sid, nice to see you here. This is just a gathering of friends, as if, you know, we're sitting in a circle talking astronomy. And I'll say this again. I should try to say this a number of times during each show. If you want to come on as a panelist, shoot me an email, and I'll send you the link for sure. No, David, this is dihydrogen oxide. Pure, well, yeah, pretty pure dihydrogen oxide. It's you know, one of those funny chemicals, but I like it. Pretty tasty. This comes right out of the ground. It's amazing. I don't know how they do that. All right. Well, hey, I think I'm going to get out of here. I don't want to hold anybody up. You know, I'm doing this every day, so it's not as if I've got to try to pack a lot of things in and try to hurry or anything else. This is very casual. For me, this is very, very fun. I can talk astronomy all day, all night, and I will if you give me a chance. But I also have to respect everybody's time, and I do. So yeah, okay. I am I am going to exit this planet. I've got to get back up to the ship. So you know, things to do, places to go, people to see, and so yeah, you know, I will see you all again in 22 and a half hours. So for now, peace and out.